today the focus is on shape. This whole week is on shape, so that every instructor this week is taking the idea of shape and kind of approaching it in their own way. So the way I'm doing it is I'm going to be focusing today on eyes, because eyes are pretty important, especially when you are drawing cartoon characters or people. I see a couple of questions. Yeah, Skylar, do you have a question? If you don't want to shout out, you can always just put it in the chat, okay? No worries. So yeah, so we're going to be focusing today on drawing eyes, and this whole month and actually into February, all of my lessons each week are going to be focused, the part of the class is going to be focused on observational drawing. So we're all going to be drawing something from observation, which means we're going to be looking at something in real life. So one of the things that is handy to have is if you have a camera phone, or if you have a photograph of you. We're going to be focusing on eyes today, like I said. And the first drawing that we're going to do is going to be an observational drawing of our own eye. And then that just as a kind of a warm up. And then we're actually going to start drawing in some different types of cartoon eyes. And cartoon eyes are really, really important in cartoons, as you kind of know the eyes, might have heard the eyes are the window to the soul. Your eyes are really, really expressive. Like, we learn a lot about how your characters are feeling or thinking based on what their eyes look like. And in fact, Chuck's character, Marvin Martian, was based on an ant, and his ant face, here actually I have a little drawing of it, his ant face doesn't have a mouth or a nose. So all of the expression from Marvin's character comes from the eyes. So Chuck had to really jam in a lot of emotion and expression just into his eyes. And we could read him just through his eyes. So your eyes are super, super important when you're drawing your characters. Oh yes, you're right. And body movement, you're right. Body expression is really important too. But today we're going to be focusing on eyes. And like I said, we're going to do an observational drawing first. So I'm just going to be using my camera phone. And I did this last week too. I just pull up, I pull it up so that I can see myself, and I prop it up so that I can see me. And let me switch cameras. I actually already did one just to kind of give you guys a sense. So the first one we're going to do is kind of based on, or it's going to be more realistic drawing. So this was the example I did, and I'm just going to do another one right underneath it. And I'm going to show you guys how you can make your eye look just as realistic as this. I know this might look daunting, but it probably only took me 20 minutes to draw, and maybe even less. And the trick is just trying to really, really, really zoom in and notice. In fact, I'm going to zoom in. Speaking of zooming in, let me zoom my camera in, and let me move it over so that you can get a new area. We're going to zoom in really close and notice all the details of your eyes. So you might want to work in a sketchbook. I'm just working on a piece of loose leaf paper. I just have a 4B pencil that I'm using. And the one thing about your eye, and you probably have always heard this before, is that your eye, it's called an eyeball. And the reason it's called an eyeball is because it's round. Your eye really is a ball inside of your head. So I'm going to start with kind of a sketchy line. I'm just kind of sketching in like a round ball, and that's going to be my eyeball. And I'm starting out lightly because I'm going to be erasing a part of this. So the whole time I am going to be referencing my own eye. So a lot of times I'm looking down at what I'm drawing, but I'm also looking, I don't know if you can see, looking up at my camera a lot too, so that I can see my eye. So here you have your eyeball. And then inside of your eyeball, your eyelid actually like kind of covers some of your eye. So your eye like kind of comes over the top part of your eye. We don't see most of our eyeball. Most of our eyeball is hidden behind our eyelids. So here's the eyelid, there's the top part of the eyelid. And then I'm just doing a really sketchy version. And there's the bottom part of the eyelid. And it's kind of coming through the middle. Even the eyeball is actually even a little bit below where that bottom lid is, just like kind of like that. And then you have to decide, so this part is going to be the inside of my eye. That's where your tear ducts are. And where your tear ducts are, like there's it actually kind of curves in a little bit. So there's like a little bit of a curve. If you look closely, your eye, there's like your eyeball kind of sits here. And then there's like, depending on what color your skin is, it's usually a little pinkish. There's like this little bit of pinkish color here that is where your tear ducts are. That's where your tears come from. And then, so I have my top part of my eyelid. Now I'm going to add in my iris and my pupil. The iris is the colored part of your eye. So that's also a circle. So I'm looking at my eye and I'm noticing the way my eyes are shaped. I have kind of this, the eye is, I can see most of the circle on the top of that lid, but the bottom part is kind of being hidden a little bit by my bottom eyelid. And I'm going to add in a circle in the middle for my pupil. The room that I'm in right now is kind of not too bright and not too dark. So my my pupil is kind of medium sized. It's not too small because I'm not in like a bright room, and it's not like huge because I'm not in a dark room, because we know that our pupil gets larger when it's darker to let in more light, and it gets smaller when it is brighter out to let in less light to help protect our eyes. Now, one important thing about making your eyes look realistic is find that reflection. If you're in a room that has light, because our eyes are wet, there is going to be a reflection. So find that reflection in whatever you're looking in, find it in your eye and just kind of draw it in. Just add in like the shape of whatever that reflection is. So mine is kind of a rectangular or squarish shape that's coming right here. Okay, add that in. That's really important to make your eyes look a little bit more realistic. Now that you have the eyelid shape and the eye and your eyeball, you can start adding in a couple of other details. I'm going to actually erase because I don't need that top part. Actually, I'm going to erase part of that the eyeball underneath. I left a little bit right here because that's actually going to help me when I draw in. I happen to have on my eyes, I have like an eye crease. You may have one on yours. You may or may not, depends on your eyes, because we're doing, like we said, we're doing observational drawings, and all of our eyes are different. So all of our drawings should look totally different. So I'm just going to add in that kind of crease right here. And now I'm looking, so it's all about adding in those tiny details when you're drawing a realistic eye. So now that I kind of have some of the basic shapes, now I can start to add in some shading, because what makes your eye go from this to that is really adding in all of the different values. So I know this week is all about shape, and we're going to get to shape a little bit more, but you can't forget value, especially when you're doing an eye, especially if you're doing a realistic style eye. So your pupil, black part, is going to be the darkest. So I'm just going to actually start shading with my pencil. I'm going to make that dark. And depending on what color your eyes are, your iris is really interesting. The closer you look at it, I love drawing eyes because the more you look and the closer you look, the more detail you'll really see in your eyes. So most people have different colors inside of their iris. It's not all just one flat color. If you look really, unless your eyes are super, super, super duper dark brown, like beautiful dark brown, your iris usually has different layers of color in them. So for a lot of people, that outer ring of the iris is slightly darker. And as you go in towards the middle, it can get slightly lighter. So I'm actually going to start to shade just a little bit of where my iris is. And I'm just kind of shading it a flat color right now to kind of give it a base level of value. But I'm going to go back in and add some more details because, like I said, the more details you add, the more realistic it's really going to look. Also, of course, make sure to not shade in where your reflection is. You're leaving your reflection white because that's pretty important if you want it to look realistic. All right, so I'm actually going to go back and I'm going to start adding a little more shadow because I know that on my eye, the outer edge is just a little bit darker. And then the closer you look at your eye, this is why I like eyes, it's almost like you can see like little veins of color kind of coming in. So that's kind of what happens on mine. You have to really look closely, but especially in like if you're in a bright room, it can be kind of hard to see sometimes on your camera phone. But if you're ever like in a nicely bright like bathroom and you're looking closely at your eye, like you might notice that there's all these just different little like almost little veins and lines that are kind of coming in from your eye. So try to add in some of those little veins, kind of they coming in from the outside, working their way in. If you want, you can blend, you can smudge a little bit to make them look a little smudgier. I'm gonna smudge mine just a little bit, just like that. Okay, now, notice I haven't even added in some of the details like eyelashes. Like that's not even something I've even added in right now. I know I'm working a little bit quick, so if you need me to slow down, just just let me know. Tater Tot, you're aggressively stabbing your paper with your eraser to try to fade the reflection. Yeah, it's tricky. One good tool, which I don't even have, I'm just using a regular eraser, but if you want to start doing really realistic drawings, it can be really good to have, I think it's called a smudge tool. It's basically it's basically like an eraser that's like a pencil that you can kind of, or it's, you can either like, there's the paper kind where you can peel the paper back and it can get like kind of really clean erase areas. It's called like a smudging pencil. And that can be really helpful if you like to draw stuff like this and you feel like you really want to get like a clean, crisp area of your reflections, or if you just, I don't know, sometimes it can be a helpful tool to have. You can get it on Amazon. If I find one, I can add one to the chat in a minute. All right, let's see. So what I'm doing now is I'm just kind of talking about value. I'm going back, I'm adding in, making a little bit darker on the outside. I'm kind of trying to make it look so that, make the values blend a little bit. So I'm working my way from a darker value on the outside of the iris. Let me zoom in a little bit more so you can see a little bit better. I'm working from a darker value on the outside of the iris and kind of shading it in a little bit lighter, changing the pressure of my pencil as I work from the outside in, just like that. And of course, like I said, the pupil is always the darkest. If you find that after you've gone over one area of your drawing that you have to go back and like, make other areas darker, you might have to go back in and like add value. So like my pupil needed to be even a little bit darker. So I'm going to go back in and darken that up a little bit. Okay. All right. One thing that's actually kind of counterintuitive, but when you are working with your eyes, when you're trying to draw your eyes, everybody knows that we have the white part of our eyes. Every human being has a white part, white eyes. But when you're drawing it realistic, you actually don't want to leave it totally white. There's actually, it's a little bit grayer than you think. So I'm actually going to take my pencil and just kind of really lightly shade in kind of the top part of that white part of the white of my eye, because that's where the shadow of your eyelid is. I know it's really hard to see, but your eyelids on the top and the bottom are casting a slight shadow. And if you want your drawing to look more realistic, then you got to add in that really light shadow. So I'm actually going to take my finger, I'm going to smudge it just a little bit to make it look a little bit lighter. And I'm going to use my eraser and erase a little bit of the middle part of that, because I want it to look a little more realistic. So even though they're called the white part, where are my fingers? The white part of the eye, it's actually, when you're drawing it, it's a little more gray than you might expect. Okay. It's all, like I said, it's all about shading. So like when you're going from this drawing to this one, you got to start thinking about all the shadows. So you might have a little bit of shadow underneath that crease, that line. I'm going to add in a little bit of value here. So I'm just starting dark and working my way in. And notice I still haven't even added in my eyelashes. I think the eyelashes are kind of like the icing on the cake. And I usually don't add them in until like almost the very last thing, because you want to get the skin tone right underneath the eyelashes first. It's a lot harder to work around the eyelashes if you've already drawn them in. So I always do those kind of last. So I'm just kind of smudging a little bit. All right, we talked about where the areas on the interior of the eye. There's like the part right here where the tear ducts come out. Oop, let me get back to my picture. There you go. And I'm going to actually start to shade those in there, kind of like a medium shade, like that. Okay, a little bit darker than where the whites of my eyes are. And over here, it's actually a little bit darker. Shade in a little bit over here, just like this. Fix that corner up a little bit, just like that. Okay. All right. Now, if you want your eyebrows, you can add in where your eyebrows are. So I'm just going to I'm not going to spend too much time because I want us to have time to do cartoon style eyes too. So I'm not going to spend too much time on the eyebrows, but I'm just kind of giving the hint of where my eyebrows are with lots of little short and quick lines for the hairs. So I like mine kind of coming up like this, but yours are probably going to look different than mine because you have your own eyebrows. And the eyebrows are also incredibly important when you're doing expression. Your eyebrows tell us a lot about what you're feeling and what you're thinking based on how high they are, how low they are. Okay, so I kind of have a little bit of the eyebrow here. All right. Now, okay, so I've kind of done it a bit. I'm gonna maybe go back and add just a little more shading here. Of course, if you're working with color, it can get really fun when you're doing the iris of the eyes. Even if you think your eyes are just brown, you say, Lee, my eyes are just like flat brown. It's not true. The closer you look, the more colors you're gonna really notice and the more details you'll really see. Okay, so I'm just kind of cleaning up the bottom eyelid a little bit. Now for your eyelashes, if you look closely, everybody, boys and girls, have eyelashes, and the purpose of the eyelashes is really just to protect the eyes from any debris that gets into them. So you got to be really there. So everybody has them, boys and girls. And there's something called a waterline underneath your eye. So if you look closely, your eyelashes are not sitting right next to where your pupil is. There's actually like a little bit of a line and underneath. It's called the waterline, and that's I guess it's called the waterline because that's where like it's kind of like a wet part of your eye, but your eyelashes actually come below that line. So I'm starting with the bottom eyelashes, and I'm just going to start like penciling them in a little bit. And the cool thing about eyelashes is that like some are longer and some are shorter. So when you're drawing them in, don't make them all the exact same length because they're not. Also, your eyelashes aren't perfect. They don't all go in one perfect little direction. Some of them go out and some of them go diagonally. So to make your eye look a little more realistic, really take note of what your eyelashes do in your drawing, or sorry, in your camera, and see, like, are my eyelashes kind of all going the same direction? Are some of them like crossing over each other? Which direction are they moving, and what do they look like? So now I've done the bottom ones, then I can do the top ones. Almost everybody's bottom eyelashes are shorter than their top ones. So I started with my shorter eyelashes. Your top eyelashes, there is not that waterline. There is a waterline, but you can't, it depends on your eye. On my eye, I can't really see it very well. So I can definitely see that water line on the bottom, but not so much on the top. So now I'm going to start adding in some of the eyelashes that are on the top. And like I said before, everybody's are different. They don't all go in the exact same direction. So don't expect your eyelashes when you're looking closely at them. Yeah, try to draw them so that like they look a little more realistic as opposed to them all being the same length. Okay. So I'm drawing them in, and then some of them actually kind of almost, the way I have my camera set up, they're kind of coming almost straight out. So kind of like that. Okay, so like I said, I don't want to spend too much time on these. Maybe like another 5 minutes. And for the last 5 minutes, we're just going to kind of go back in and try to darken up our values. The one thing I always see in drawings, I was doing a couple of years ago, I was doing this portfolio class. So I was helping judge and I was helping kids, high school students, make their art portfolios better suited so that they were going to enroll in art schools. And so they would come to me and I would take a look at the stuff that they had in their art portfolio. And across the board, almost all people had trouble with making sure their values were super, super dark. Like people would think that their drawings were finished when they got to like this stage and they're like, oh, I'm done. This looks good. I'm happy with it. But in reality, if you just take that extra 5 minutes and try to go through and like notice what areas of your eyes are really the darkest, what areas are the lightest, and really try to like make sure that those dark areas are super dark and those light areas are super light, then you'll have a lot more variety in the kind of values and tones you have in your drawings. And across the board, this is something I saw with almost all of the portfolios that they just didn't like, they stopped too soon. If they had spent 5 more minutes, like just making sure that there's like darker areas and lighter areas, then their drawings would have looked a lot more finished. So I'm going through and making sure that I have some darker spots. So I'm noticing where the really dark areas are. My eyelashes are one of them. I need to darken those up. I'm noticing I made the pupil darker. If you want to get really nice and realistic, then one cool thing to do is we added the reflection. We have that clean reflection spot, but in reality, that reflection isn't just clean. It's a pretty bright white spot, but you actually, when you look really closely, there are things reflected in that reflection. So you might have some like the reflection of your eyelashes in that reflection. So I might go back in and add in some of those little tiny eyelashes inside my reflection. Like that. And actually I could kind of see a line from my window. This is like kind of like the window line from my the blinds in the room I'm in. So I might add that in. Kind of the hint. You're just kind of adding in the hint of those things. The reflections of a reflection, a reflection inside of a reflection. All right. Okay. So I've been talking at you guys for now 25 minutes, but I would love to see some of your drawings. If you guys have any, let me zoom out a little bit. If you guys have any eyes you want to share with me. Whoa, nice, Nathaniel, that looks awesome.
Yeah, how much smudge I have on my finger.
Yeah, me too. I got some smudge on my finger too, but that looks great. What an awesome observational drawing. Let's see, Tater Tot, I saw you have your hand up.
I'm not done. I'm still. This is what I got so far.
Wow, that looks awesome too. Nice. I like, you know what? I like that you worked extra big. I like that you went extra big on yours because it gives you room to like move around.
Here.
Liliana and Heather Rose, let's see. Wow. Whoa, girls, what were you using? Because yours are so dark.
It's,
you're doing it on the tablet.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, that was awesome. Ooh, very nice. That looks great. Nice. You nailed the shape. You just got to work on the shading. But that looks awesome. Wow. Does anybody else want to share?
Soleil, and then
Yeah.
Kat.
Soleil, let's see.
Hello.
Hi.
I'm still not finished, but this
That's
is what I
okay.
did so far.
That looks awesome. Oh my
Thank
gosh,
you.
you're nailing the shading. That looks great. It looks very realistic.
Thank you.
And oh,
Kat?
hi, Kat.
I kind of need to go back and with my pencils and fix and stuff, but I kind of decided to do like in color.
That's awesome. I love it. Very nice. I can see the shape underneath. I can see that you had the eyeball drawn first, which is what I was looking for. Nice, really good. Very cool. And don't
Skylar?
worry, nobody's finished. Hi, hey, is it Skylar? Hey, Skylar. Let's see. Uh-oh, I think your camera might have frozen. I think it froze. Scott?
We can go back to Skylar.
Yeah, Skylar, when you unfreeze, we'll go back to you, okay? All right. Is there anybody else in the meantime who has not shared who would like to share? There's no pressure if you don't want to, or if you do, whichever. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to switch to my other camera again. So I wanted to spend half that time drawing a realistic eye, because it kind of gives you a sense of eyes and shapes and stuff. Because next up, we're going to practice drawing some different styles of eyes. And this part is just kind of, I just did some quick examples before class started. But for this part, you guys kind of get to draw whatever you'd like in terms of eyes and in terms of styles. I will challenge you though to try to draw some, make sure that you're adding in, like, just try to vary them so you're not all drawing the same type. Stylizing, exactly, Tater Tot. So, and you notice with the quick sketches I was doing, I was really just focusing on the eyes. I'm not really focusing on too much on any of the other parts of the features. But one thing I did find helpful when I was drawing in the eyes was to just start with like a basic face shape. Whatever that face shape could be, it could be animal. I don't know if you're going animal eyes, if you're going more human eyes, you can have a variety like I was doing. But one thing I did find helpful when I'm drawing the eyes, one of the trickiest things is to make sure that your eyes are in the same place, that you don't have like one huge one and one big one and one small one. You want to try to make them the same size. That is, of course, unless your character just has two different sized eyes. I don't know. It's up to you. But like I said before, that eyes tell a lot about your character. So, and I'm sure you guys have done this before, but obviously if you make different expressions at yourself in the mirror, your eyebrows change slants, your eyes widen, they can narrow. If you have more of a skeptical look, sometimes the eyes can point in one direction. If you look more shocked or more surprised, your eyes can be wide open. So I challenge you guys to try to do some different types of eyes. So I'm going to, maybe I'll start over here. And if you need to like Google cartoon eyes, you can, it's okay to borrow different ideas from eyes and things that you've seen, as long as you change them up when you're drawing your actual character. So like I haven't done any like a shocked look. So maybe I'm gonna do like some shocking eyes. So like eyes that are really wide. So I'm just drawing in some contour lines. So when I draw my face in, I draw in like a curved line to show that this is kind of the direction that the face is going to be looking. And that'll kind of give me some guidelines on where to draw my eyes in. And as always, I always start with a light sketchy line, and then I go back up and I clean it up, make it darker. So I'm doing kind of a shocked expression. maybe he's going to look like, so his eyes are, his pupils are going to be kind of in the middle like this. Also with cartoon eyes, and they generally tend to be bigger than a more realistic style eye would be. If you're drawing a person in a realism way, like if you wanted to your picture to look more realistic, the eyes would be much smaller. With cartoons, because we want our cartoons to be expressive, our eyes generally are much, much larger than an eye would be if you were drawing it realistically. So, all right, and the eyebrow is super important. So maybe I want it to be like, because he's looking shocked. He's shocked over here. Does anybody, I know you guys all have different, oh, sorry, Skylar, no worries, no worries. I know you guys all have different characters that you're working with. So I'm curious what you could always do if you have a character that you like to draw, that you work with, and you just want to draw that character with a bunch of different eyes and expressions, then go for it. Totally up to you. But like I said, the challenge today is to try to vary the shapes to see if you can get some different expressions. Maybe there's like some little curves underneath here. What would your character look like if you gave him like a totally different shape eye? I don't know. Okay. Let's see. So try some different expressions. I have shocked. This one I was kind of going for like more angry. Maybe I'll do I don't know. I don't know yet. I have to think about it. Maybe I'll do like a super angry. Do a super, say this guy's kind of like frustrated looking, but maybe I'll do like a really angry one. So for super angry, maybe this one, the face is looking this direction. Running out of room on my paper. Okay, it's okay, I'll just draw smaller. So I'm gonna draw that contour line in. It tells me where to add those eyes. Because remember, the eyes are actually halfway down the face. Even on cartoons, the eyes are kind of halfway down the face. Unless you're drawing an animal, that's generally the case. Animals, obviously their faces have totally different proportions. So if you're drawing a penguin or a different type of animal, then you have to really look closely at those animals. In fact, whenever a group of animators decides to like, whatever the character is, they usually go and study that animal in real life. So for instance, like when the animators of The Lion King did, we're drawing that cartoon and the animation, they would spend hours and hours at the zoo just observing the big cats and the way they moved, and the hyenas and the way they moved. Lots and lots of observational drawing that helps guide the cartoon versions. That's how you get things to look more realistic. Even if you're drawing something that doesn't exist, even if you're drawing like an alien or something that you don't know, like something that doesn't exist on Earth, like still taking movements and different features from different characters and animals that actually do exist on Earth, not characters, but taking from animals and insects that do exist on Earth, like it's probably super helpful in your drawing. Draw these eyes, do more almond-shaped ones. So they don't really look angry yet, but once I start adding in those eyebrows, yeah, I'm gonna do like a curved eyebrow. It's coming up real high. Yeah, that. Make it look super angry, kind of like a villain character. I'm talking a lot, but if anybody wants to share Like I said, you're always more than welcome to share anything that you're working on. I like that, Evie. I like that you're. All right. You'll have to show us when you're done. Draw some like. Sometimes, like when you're really angry, your brow furrows in the middle, and you get these like lines in between your eyebrows. I can like do a hint of the nose here. And maybe I want to add in some. Oh, I can add in some like those little cheek lines. When you're really angry, sometimes your eye like makes kind of hits your cheek. Start to darken it up a little bit. That. Make those eyebrows even darker or even thicker. The head shape would kind of come down like that. Something like that. All right, let's try a different kind, different shape. If a character looks really sleepy, sometimes the eyelid, you see the eyelid. So maybe over here, I'll do like a really sleepy character. Shocked. I was doing kind of like an owl-like character over here, and I was thinking about the owl, and so I tried to add in some glasses. I don't know. Just play around with it. Play around with different eyes. If you like drawing dogs, like Google some images of dog eyes and just see. If you like drawing people or like anime style eyes, then just Google some anime style eyes. Just try to do something different than what you normally draw. Because I know we all kind of sometimes get stuck in that that routine of drawing things the way we always draw them. What I'm trying to do here is challenge you to break away from how you always do things and to try to draw things in a totally like just a different way. You might hate it. You might be like, ugh, this is the worst drawing ever. But you know what Chuck Jones always said about that? Is that there are 10,000 bad drawings. You've got to get out of you first before you get to the good ones. So any drawing is a good drawing in the sense that it gets you to a better one down the line. So it can be something that you like, you don't like. It doesn't really matter. Even if you hate it, just try it. So our eyes are, I don't know, I would say they're like neck and neck important with your mouth in terms of expression. Those are the two main ways we know what a character is feeling. You can also try to draw your eyes like looking in different directions. So actually I was gonna do sleepy. Maybe I'll just do like some serious side eye. I'm gonna do some side eye. This person's like gonna be like, this character's gonna be like really skeptical over here. Maybe it's like the eyelids coming down like this. Got this like, look at this side over here. Throw in some side eye for sure. And like eyebrow's gonna kind of come down like that. And like that. It looks really, really skeptical. Really skeptical look over here. Yeah, try like think of, you could even like make a list if that helps you. You can make a list of different emotions. Like your character looks fearful, your character looks skeptical, your character looks enthusiastic. Your character looks shocked. I don't know. Totally up to you. You can make a list if it seems to help you. Don't have to. You can just make a mental list too. There's some side eye. Oh, I forgot to mention at the beginning of class, but just so you guys know, we are doing donations this month, and we're accepting donations. And we're also, if you enjoy what we're doing here, and you and a friend want to get more one-on-one instruction, you can always sign up for some of our private lessons. So all the instructors here are doing private lessons, and they can be really, really awesome. So if there's something specific that you want to learn, like if you're like, oh, I really want to get better at animation, or if you really, really want to like get better at like character design, or if you really want help in like making something that's specific to your interests, you can sign up for a private lesson. So that's just something that we are offering. And we have private lessons, and we also have semi-private lessons. So if you like have met a friend and you want to do a class together or a private lesson together, that can be that's an option. It's totally up to you guys. But just wanted to let you guys know that they're available. That's something that we are doing. I'd love to see some of these examples. So, oh yeah, so Scott has put in the link on the side in your chat to the donation and to the lessons. So there, it's right over there. If you are interested, check it out. I know you might not have that many examples, but I would love to see some of the different styles you guys have drawn in. So if anybody wants to share, I know we still have some time left. Yeah, Tater Tot.
I haven't really been drawing the people with them. I've just kind of been doodling and seeing what I like.
Oh, sweet. Those are awesome. Whoa, I really like that the rectangular shape. It's almost with like the slit in the middle. It's almost like snake-like. It's very reptilian.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, and I really like the drip, the eye, like the sad. Actually, I forgot to draw a sad face. That's next. That's awesome. I love it. Really, really good variety there. Just perfect. Oh, no worries, Laura. It's totally, yeah. If you just want to like watch it while we draw, that's totally fine too. This is time is to use as you wish. No worries. Also, if you guys don't know this, all of these videos get recorded and they're posted to YouTube. So if you ever want to go back and rewatch something, or if you want to do something again, you can always find it on Scott. Maybe you'll put in the link to our YouTube page. I think it's. What is the name of it again? Is it Chuck Redux? Is that right, Scott?
Yes, it's Chuck Redux, and I put the link to the Chuck Jones in Your Home playlist in the chat.
Awesome. Perfect. So, and that's kind of cool to like go back and scroll through, because we've been doing these free classes since last March, and there is a ton of videos that Scott has posted. Thanks. Let's all say thank you to the wizard behind the curtain, Scott, because he is awesome and has been recording and posting all these. So there is just a treasure trove of videos that you can go back through. So if you ever miss a class, if you're like, I can't make it on Wednesday, but you're interested, you should go to our YouTube site, because there is a lot of good stuff there. Yeah. What was that, Scott?
I was just saying thank you.
Oh yeah, no worries. No worries. I'm not joking. You are the wizard behind the curtain over here. Make it happen. Does anybody else do that thing of signing your art in a new month? You just say, yeah, is it January? Obviously, yeah. I still write the wrong year. It takes me until March to get the right year, Tater Tot. But that's a good noticing about signing your work, especially if you work in a sketchbook. It's always awesome. Even just I always initial and write the year, like LF 2021. That's kind of how I do it. Because it doesn't seem like it now, but like a couple of years from now, you'll be amazed when you're going back through your work. And I didn't always add in the dates, and sometimes I really wish I had, just so that I could see like when I did something. Yeah, so absolutely, I would love to see a drawing you made recently.
So this is a new OC that I made, or original character. Her name is Karma Crook.
Nice, Karma Crook.
And she kind of has like these two like yin and yang spirits next to her, which she carries around. Kind of cursed with them, but same thing.
Wait, show me again. Go back. Can we go back to it one more time? That's awesome. I totally dig the yin and yang things. That's awesome.
Thank you.
I like how the one is kind of wrapping around her hand.
Yeah, I like drawing that too. It's really satisfying to me.
Yeah, nice. Is she more of a villainess, or is she is she good or evil? Or a little bit of both?
She's kind of neutral.
Okay.
Her two spirits are, one is the evil one, one's a good one. They're kind of like the angel and demon on her shoulders. So she's kind of neutral.
Ah, Nathaniel says anti-hero. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's really cool. I like her. So I'm wondering who would be if you did a full comic strip or something with her, who would be her? Did she have a sidekick? Like, or who would be alongside her? Who would be?
Well, usually it's her two spirits that are always with her, but mostly they're not there. So she's kind of like a loner. She doesn't really talk to anyone much.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like this. I like that you've kind of thought of it through her backstory.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So we have some more time. So if you guys want to keep working on some of your drawings, it's good to try to add in like different angles, especially if there's a character that you're doing. You could try to draw, like a lot of mine were either from the front, like facing front, or this is called 3/4 profile. So these two are both 3/4 profile, where the character is looking kind of diagonally. You might want to try like a full profile shot so that your character is all the way straight to the side, looking to the side. Something good to kind of figure out when if you have a character that you enjoy drawing. So like
Peter would like to share something as well.
Yeah, I'd love to see.
Hey again. So me and my friends were playing Among Us a lot recently, so I went through and I made some character designs.
Oh, sweet.
That we usually play as. There's one more here.
Oh my God, you were holding those up way too fast.
Sorry.
That's okay. I like want to look at them more. That's awesome. Will you hold up the first two again? Oh, those ones are rad. Those are awesome. Those are awesome. I love them.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's very cool. Nice. I love that. Like you get inspiration from anything, from games you play, from like things that you watch. I don't know if you guys have seen this yet, but I recently watched the new Pixar movie Soul, and I'm not going to give anything away, but one, it's awesome. Pixar cannot do a bad movie. Like they're like physically incapable of doing a bad movie. I don't know, like they're just masters. But number two, they like in the story, like they have these kind of characters like that are unknowable beings, and the way that they chose to depict them, I loved it. They almost like kind of remind me of like Picasso style, like like there's just like these little line designs, and they're just like it's just so, it's so cool. When I was watching it, I imagined like in the creative brief of somebody like the artists who are in there, like being given this like concept, being like, all right, your idea is you're gonna draw a creature that doesn't exist, something that like lives in this in-between world between, you know, this unknowable land. Like that's kind of like a creator's dream, to be given a character that you have to completely use your imagination to make. If what I'm saying is so don't worry, I won't spoil it. I will not spoil it. I will not say anything else about it. But all I will say is that if you haven't seen it, you need to go watch it, because it's a pretty amazing film. Like I said, like Pixar just cannot do a bad movie. They're incapable of doing bad movies.
I think Evie would like to share.
Yeah, Evie.
Here's my weird triangle eye thing.
I dig it. I totally dig. Oh, I love her little like puppet hand. So cute. Oh, I like the triangle eye though. That's awesome. Tell me more. What is it? Just the cat that's on her head, or?
Well, it's a surprise based on my Among Us character, and they wear a cat hat. So yeah.
I love the cat hat. It's super cute. Awesome. All right. Yeah, if anybody else wants to share, just shout out, okay? I'm gonna like try to nail this. I always find the profile is a little trickier to me. So like I'll like work on where it would be. Like that. I don't love that one, but that's okay. Like I said, it's always about just trying your best to try something new. All right, we have about 7 minutes left. So if anybody has anything that they would like to share, it doesn't have to be something that you've done today. I'm always interested in seeing drawings that you guys have just, you know, done throughout the week. So just let me know. Yeah, absolutely, Sienna. Love to see something that you did earlier this week. Whoa, that's awesome. Nice perspective. That angle is not easy of her sitting. Your character is sitting on a ball, right? Is it he or she, or is it
It's a he.
he? So he's sitting on. Is it just like a soccer ball?
I think so.
That's
Yes.
awesome. Yeah, that's not an easy perspective to draw. Like to nail that. So when you're drawing something that's going back like that, it's called foreshortening. So you had some good what's called foreshortening, where like your legs, like it's hard to explain, but foreshortening is when you're drawing something like from one angle, and even though we know like a part of your drawing is supposed to be really long, it actually, from where you're looking and where you're sitting, it looks shorter. And that's what you've done naturally in your drawing. So that's awesome. That actually would be now that I think about it, foreshortening would be a good thing to cover coming lesson. It's not an easy thing to do. It takes lots and lots of practice. All right. Let's see. So you could practice some eyes like from some completely profile side eyes. So they would kind of be coming in like this. doing an eye from the side, it looks very different.
Peter says he would love a class on foreshortening.
Yeah, that, you know what, now that I think about it more, it would be really cool to teach. I think it might even be more than one class. That would be really, like, foreshortening is a challenge, is like a definitely like a challenging thing to do. But yeah, I will talk to the other instructors about that. Maybe we can manage that. Let's see. Well, like I said, every week this month and February, this whole month is called Back to the Basics, and that's what we're doing. We're going back to the elements of art. So every piece of art that you have seen or made is based on, like, there are elements in it. So the elements are kind of like the building blocks of art. So line, shape, color, texture, value, form. Those are kind of the elements of art. And so every week this month and into February, we are choosing an element of art, and each instructor is kind of tackling that element in their own way. So this week is shape. So we're doing different eye shapes in my class, but I don't know. Mike Funt, who is the amazing comedian, is probably tackling shape in a very different way. And Ben is probably tackling shape in also a very different way than how Naleen might be teaching it. So if you wanna check out all the instructors this week, it'd be rad because you kind of get a different approach from all of us.
Heather Rose would like to share.
Yeah, let's see.
Yeah, I'll go first.
Whoa, quite the collection over there. Nice. Look at all those different types. There's so much variety. Very cool. Oh, nice, very nice. Let's see. Oh, I love that you're working on the tablet. It looks so professional. Ooh, I see a lot of different.
And also,
Oh, very cool. That looks awesome. Yeah, I love that you got that tablet and that pencil. That's a good tool for you. Very nice. All right. Yeah, it definitely makes things look super professional working with it. All right. All right, last call. Oh yeah, I'd love to see. What's your little sister's name?
Charlotte.
Oh, Charlotte? Hello. That's awesome. What a magical looking unicorn over there. She's pretty magical. Does she lives on that cloud? Tell it.
No, it's like a sidewalk.
Oh, I see. It's like a rainbow path, a rainbow sidewalk. Very cool. All right. Nice job. All right. Well, last call for sharing. If anybody wants to share any of their eyes, more realistic style eye or cartoon style eye, I'd love to see. Otherwise, next week, I will be here on Tuesday, same time. Next week is color. So if you bring some sort of, you'll want paper and pencil, but you'll also want some sort of coloring materials, and that's totally up to you. I tend to use color pencils just because I can get a lot more like layers with the color pencils, but it's totally up to you guys what you choose to use. If you like using paint, then you could try paint. If you like using more crayons or markers, then use those, but bring some sort of coloring materials because next week is color, one of my favorites. All right, guys, I hope that you had a good time. Hope you learned something. I hope you guys kind of stepped outside of your comfort zone today and tried something new, because that being challenged is what makes you grow as artists. And otherwise, I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you next week. All right, bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.